The Book of Morty, another chapter of Good Wizard's holy text. First Morty, then Rick. The whole multiverse of that show is flipped over by the events outside of it. Good Wizard isn't of our non-magic world, but just as events in it can impact other dimensions, so too Good Wizard can contribute his magic to a religion on our planet. This book of Good Wizard's holy text is for fans facing difficult facts about one of their favorite show's co-creators / co-stars, whose legal case, le va co-star, and make him the co-star that se va. Good Wizard invites them as well as his PropheTranslator to contemplate what about the show appealed to them. Contrary to the infamous copy pasta, one doesn't need a high IQ to get Rick and Morty. Being more intelligent just lets someone read more into any given media. Borges was wrong about Quran not mentioning camels because he just assumed an Arabic book wouldn't need such a directly Arabic reference, more or less. Reading more into something isn't the same as proving you didn't even read something. Good Wizard won't let his PropheTranslator go fully blind because the whole literary world gave Borges a pass on that just because it got harder for him to read over the years as he lost more of his vision. Rick and Morty pick more obvious pop culture parody and tears down those tropes, but Good Wizard will go after harder targets in more need of being torn down and relegated to museums like the idols of ancient civilizations. The PropheTranslator is a legally blind bilingual guy, so he can rip Borges apart until all his apologists wish they were the ones going blind so they wouldn't have to see that their literary hero was actually completely wrong about Quran and not in the usual Islamophobic misinterpretation of it. The PropheTranslator didn't let his visual impairment stop him from reading a couple translations of Quran, and even in memorizing the shorter chapters at the end, including Quran 88:17, found in one of the shorter surahs that is really nice poetry with some really scary stuff juxtaposed with the heavenly stuff before citing the camel and how it was created, among other things as proofs of Allah. Rick and Morty never got to call out a blind guy on his BS, but Good Wizard picked a PropheTranslator that can. Having been to Argentina, it's clear to the PropheTranslator that Borges assumed, since the Pampa is like the American Midwest on steroids, where the mountains off the Andes range stand out like giant piles of nature's leftover building supplies against the mostly flat, arid, and seemingly deforested, boring countryside background, a plain upon which the gauchos go knife fighting from one pulperia to the next. The author connected the desert to the Pampa and Bedouins to gauchos, left it at that. Borges was a nerd who never fought, so he didn't have to think about terrain. Of course it mentions camels, because they were essential to getting around the desert. Muhammad, as controversial as he was, had to understand some parts of physical reality and have guys with swords to back him up. Also, unlike most of the Pampa in the Midwest, there are hills on many of Muhammad's battlefields. Camels have humps, the Arabian Peninsula has hills, and the Quran actually mentions this stuff. This is not a tangent because it brings Good Wizard back around to the appeal of Rick and Morty. A little deconstruction goes a long way. It is precisely by leaving one's home dimension that we discover what truly transcends cultures and touches our lives with human magic. The whole point of the show was anyone can do this shit. If you think watching that sort of thing is fun, try quoting Good Wizard's magic word while other people are talking about their sacred texts.